Hi guys, good evening. I hope all of you are good. This is Orichikochi again. Hope you guys had a great day. Welcome to a video. Again, like, subscribe, and comment, guys. Let's make sure we grow this channel. And yeah, guys, I'm here today to give you a video. We're gonna have a Kaizer Chiefs discussion again. Today, I'm gonna have a video where I'm gonna talk about the game, one in general. I'm gonna talk about the Kaizer Chiefs game that they played against Kukuni. I'm also gonna go through some of the aspects of Kaizer Chiefs from what I see. First, I'm gonna go through the post. I'm gonna make a post-match analysis of the game between Kaizer Chiefs and Kukuni, from what I saw, from what I couldn't find from the game. I'm also going to talk about Kaizer Chiefs now. Obviously, they've qualified for the Caf Confederations Cup. Because of the qualified, they've locked on the third position in the league. And then I'm also going to talk about the squad. I'm also going to talk about the coaching and what the way forward is for Kaizer Chiefs as a football club. So I'm going to have quite a bit of an extensive video where I'm going to talk about what is the way forward for Kaizer Chiefs from where they are right now. So first things first, I'm going to talk about the Kukuni and Kaizer Chiefs game. And from what I could see, guys, still some of the things that we always know about Kaizer Chiefs. It was a scrappy game. The first half was quite cagey from what we could see. It was still a tough game, not a lot of chances. The profile of the game was always going to be tough for Chiefs, because Chiefs, obviously, as you know, they're a team that likes to play with space. They're a team that needs a lot of that needs space to be able to be effective. And when they play against teams that do not give them space, and time on the ball, they struggle a lot, because they're a team that wants to play with their high turnover team. They want to be a team that plays on high turnover. Their players are players that you could see. If you look at the profile of the players that Kaizer Chiefs have, Modi, the Lilepos, the Duprees, the Shavalalas, those are not players that can play in pockets. There are players that, as soon as the ball turns over, they're looking, the Dubas. There are players that want to play in space and they want to play in transition. So as such, when Kaizer Chiefs have been given the ultimatum to have the ball, they struggle a lot in possession, because they do not know how to play against teams that play deep, or teams that have a solid compact block, whether it's a mid block or a high block, or a team that is physical against them and doesn't give them a lot of space and time on the ball. They struggle a lot because they don't play in a technical way. They don't combine a lot. They're position-wise, they don't play with a lot of triangles, play with a lot of good attacking actions that you can see about a team. There are certain things, traits that you can look at a team. But Kaizer Chiefs are one of those teams that play a lot on turnover balls. And because Kukune, obviously, from what we noticed, they were there to defend, it was always going to be difficult, because of the profile of the game didn't suit the players the Chiefs have. Obviously, they played Modi and Lilepo out wide. Lilepo and Modi always keep their width. They don't invert into the half spaces, and then they add numbers where they can combine. They play with triangles. So because they're not a team that is suited to playing in short spaces and in tight spaces. They struggle a lot when they play against those types of teams. So the game was always going to be difficult, But because generally Kaizer Chiefs, the Lilepos, the Sirinos, they have the quality on the ball, they are always going to have one or two moments of quality that they will create. And as the game continued to move forward, Kaizer Chiefs started to get more and more involved in the game. Silva didn't get a lot of chances, so you can't really blame him. Such is the thing. He got a lot of difficult balls. There wasn't any clear-cut chances. There weren't enough crosses for him to attack. There weren't enough good attacking actions, for whether it's cutbacks or little intricate passes in around him, where he could get a clear shot on goal. He only got one through ball, which he unfortunately pushed the ball a bit forward, and then he couldn't get a clean shot into. So it was difficult for Kaizer Chiefs, but the more the game further moved forward, the more that the obviously Skukone, they were going to be susceptible to giving Kaizer Chiefs chances. And the changes in the second half, I think, helped the Kaizer Chiefs a lot. They changed Kale, they brought in Kale. Kale brought in a lot of stability in the middle field, brought a lot of calmness and quality on the ball, very technical, combined, connected the defense and the attack, and was the one who was linking everything together, as you could see with Ngobo. He always plays well with Ngobo, with Nkosimpile and Ngobo, because they help each other. When one does something, the other one complements him in different ways. And you see Kele and Ngobo are always looking for the short passes. As much as they might not have the engine to go up and down, but you can see that when the game becomes very technical, when the games becomes very short, especially Kele has the quality to be able to at least combine up the tempo when he needs to, drop down the tempo when he needs to. But it's all about profiling players, and when you bring the right profile of players together, that's when you're able to see the quality of certain players come through. And then obviously they also brought in Chislet, they also brought in Mfundo Velakas, who changed the game. They also brought in Frosler, which was an underrated change, because Frosler is more the profile of Frosler. Frosler is a midfielder tending to a right back, where else when you look at Monyane, he's more of a winger being converted back to a right back. So Monyane, if you noticed, he always wants to create the width, he always wants to run quickly. He's more a bit like Solomon's. They are players that always want to play quick, they always want to run in behind, they always want to play they want to stretch the defensive line, and they want to play with pace. Whereas Frosler is more of a midfielder who is very technical, can drop into the half spaces, can add him as a third midfielder, can combine, can see the passes, very good cross of the ball, knows when to run in behind, knows when to drop deep, and he complements Lebo very well, because then Lebo doesn't have to run into the same space that Monyane does. So they complement each other much better when he plays with Frosler, and I think he impacted the game quite better. So that was one thing that I noticed from the game that really improved. But Kaizer Chiefs, Mfundo Vilakazi, again, made great impact. He has that Kasi flavor, as you see, quality, can dribble, is very skillful. And when you're playing those types of teams that do not give space, and they are very physical and they are very compact, you need a lot of the skillful players that either can open up a team in either 1-2s, they can play quick 1-touch, 2-touch passing, or you need to have midfielders that have the capacity to go 1-versus-1 against their fullback, can isolate the fullbacks and can beat their men so that they can create space for the other players. And when you have Mfundo there, it also makes it a lot better to create those types of chances. You can see that enthusiasm. I'm very happy for Morris to get his goal. So yeah, Kaizer Chiefs won the game, but it wasn't much of a surprise in terms of how the game went. Skukone didn't offer much. Skukone obviously just wanted to play defensive and make sure that they just made the game very, very, very tight. But from what you could see, it's a good 3 points from Kaizer Chiefs. They go to the Caf Confederation Cup, and for them, from where they were in 9th last season to 3rd, I think it's a very good improvement that they've got into the team. And then now we move into the second part, which is the overall game that the club, the team, and the squad of Kaizer Chiefs. I do think Kaizer Chiefs have a lot. I think they have a lot of work in terms of the squad. I think, and before I talk about the squad, I want to talk about the coaching. My apologies for that. I think Kaizer Chiefs have a problem with the coaching. If Kaizer Chiefs wants to progress further into a title competing team with Orlando Pirates and Sundowns, I think it's very important that they get a very good coach. But that starts with understanding the philosophy and the game model that they want to play moving forward. I think they have to understand and look at and analyze the game. I think the profile of the players that they've brought into the squad do not mesh well together. So Kaizer Chiefs are a very clunky team. They play well in moments when the game is physical and it's a high-paced game. They suit that because they can use their quick players to break and to play on the, but they are not very technical, where the game has to be technical and the game has to be played on the ground. They struggle a lot. They do not have a lot of players who can play that type of ball. So they have to first understand as a club, what type of team do they want for the next season. And that's the question that Kaizer Chiefs and the technical team have to ask themselves. Or as the management, what type of team do we want? You know, if Kaizer Chiefs want to be competitive in the Premier Soccer League, they have to get a coach. And they have to get a coach who will play the type of game that will excite the fans, not only excite the fans, but a game with direction. You know, when you look at the coaches that Kaizer Chiefs currently have, you do not know. You know, they are always changing the team, they are always changing the squad, they are always changing the philosophy, formations. So there isn't any consistency. The only thing that has been consistent for Mosok has been the defense. You know, 3 of the 4 players have played most of the time. Monyani, McCarthy, Cross, and Peterson have played most of the season. So those are the only consistent players that you could say have played consistently. But in general, the team, as I say, there isn't any philosophy or a game model that you can look at Chiefs and say, Kaizer Chiefs is this type of team. You know, when you look at Orlando Pirates, their game model and their passing schemes and the philosophy, you can see the way that they play, they know what they're doing. When you're looking at them, there's a clarity and a know-how, which areas they have to attack. They're very technical. They can pass the ball with a lot of freedom. There's a lot of cohesion in the areas. In the middle third, the pressing systems are very clear. They press as a team. They drop into, when they are dropping the middle block, they know how to defend the areas that they have to occupy. So those are teams that you can see that there's a clear game model that they play according to. And every player that they have in the squad fits into that game model. Yes, other players will take time to fit into that, but you can clearly see that there's a philosophy and a game model that they are playing according to. And I think as a management, Kaizer Chiefs, they have to understand, do they want to be a counter-attacking team? Do they want to be a team that plays on the break? Do they want to be a team that, what they are right now, which is transition, high turnover team that plays on the transition, wants to play on the break? Or do they want to be a high possession-based team that plays with a lot of quality? And as such, if they understand what they want, then I think it will also bring credence to them getting a coach that they need. You know, for me, I've always said it that I would want Peter Mosimane. I think he has shown his credibility in Sundowns, being able to build Sundowns, the team that they are. A lot of the systems, a lot of the patterns that you see in Sundowns, the foundation was built on by Peter Mosimane. As much as Rulani Mokwena came in and raised the level higher, I would love Rulani. If it was my choice, I would have loved Rulani, but obviously you can see he's on a different project where he is. But I think Peter Mosimane would be a great signing. Even Mangoba Nciti, I think, would be a good shout. The other shout that I think would be out of the blue would be Dan Malisela. I think Dan Malisela is a very good coach. Understands South African football. You could see from his past, TS Galaxy, Chippa United. If Kaizer Chiefs don't want to bring a high-profile coach, I think Dan Malisela deserves an opportunity. Can play very good football, knows how to improve players. You know, he understands the South African style of the flair and knows how to get the best. I think his Chippa United team was one of the best. I used to enjoy watching those teams. You know, the type of football that they played, and even that philosophy and that game model, it transitioned into a Chippa United, into a TS Galaxy. And I just think he needs an opportunity to show his qualities there. So if Kaizer Chiefs are not able to get a Peter Mosimane or a Mangoba Nciti, I do think that Dan Malisela would be a very, very good coach. And I think it would improve a lot of the players that they have in the squad currently. The squad in general, and that's when it comes to the coaching and the coaching, I don't think Cedric Kaze and Khalil Ben Yusuf, I think you could see from them there is no direction and clear philosophy and clear direction. Those guys are always changing the team. I don't think there's a place for them in the team. Kaizer Chiefs have to find new coaches. And then when you go to the squad, I think the squad is a mirror image of the coach. I think Kaizer Chiefs have taken a lot of liberties in terms of the players that they've signed over the years. I think a lot of the players that they have in the team currently are very average. And as much as they have a big squad, there's a difference between having a big squad and having a squad with quality. And I think you can see a team like Sundowns and a team like Pirates is starting to do that. But I think if you want to really build a quality team, there has to be additions that mirror the vision of what the club wants to go. I think if Kaizer Chiefs wants to be competitive in the Premier Soccer League, they have to get the best current talent in the league. And they have to recruit those players. You know, there's players like there's a player like Ndlovu from Golden Arrows. There's a player that they're high quality players. Thabo Moloisane from Stellenbosch, very good player. Langalihle Phili, like I've said in previous video, very good player, high quality. You can see he's a young player with a lot of quality. So there are players that Kaizer Chiefs could get, but if Kaizer Chiefs wants to be competitive in the market, they have to be competitive the players that Orlando Pirates and Sundowns are signing. You can't only allow Sundowns and Pirates to get the best players. You are putting yourself in a difficult position. Orlando Pirates and Sundowns have scored over 60 goals this season, if I've checked in the league. Kaizer Chiefs have scored 32 goals. I think they've scored 34 goals in the Premier Soccer League, if I'm not mistaken. So Orlando Pirates and Sundowns have doubled the amount of goals that Kaizer Chiefs have scored. So it tells you the quality and the game model in terms of where the squad is. And I think Kaizer Chiefs have to stop taking liberties on signing players that are not the represent quality of the club. If Kaizer Chiefs wants to be competitive in the Premier Soccer League, they have to get the best players. And they have to stop getting free agents or players. You can't tell me that you buying a player that has only scored 1 goal or 2 goals at Chipa United or Stellenbosch or Golden Arrows, and you say that the player is going to come and make a high impact in the team. You can already see from last season, Orlando Pirates signed Oshunapolis. Yes, did he have an amazing season? No. But he was a mainstay in the Bafana squad. You could see his quality. The same as Tshepang Morim was one of the best players in Amazulu last season. Orlando Pirates went after that. Because when you sign high quality players, it also makes it much easier for patterns and combinations to come quicker, because those players can get those things quicker. So it's so important that Kaizer Chiefs compete and try to get the best possible players in the Premier Soccer League. I do think there's a lot of players that have to be let go, but I do think that Kaizer Chiefs should really look at getting the right profile of players. As I said, there's a Cisse from Golden Arrows, there's a Ndlovu from Golden, there's a Langelihle Phili, Moloisane from Stellenbosch. You know, they're high quality players that Kaizer Chiefs could get. Even go to Sundowns, they could go and try and get Spelele Mkhulisi, very good player. So there are a lot of quality players that Kaizer Chiefs could get to improve the squad. Do I expect them from where they are to compete with Orlando Pirates next season? It's all dependent on the coach, the game model they have, and the squad that they bring into the team. And I think if they marry all of those things together, I think they will have a steady improvement. Again, they are going to the Caf Confederations Cup. So they need to have high quality players that could make it much easier for them to be competitive in all those competitions. You know, and they have to give a chance to the young players. You know, I think Kaizer Chiefs have a lot of very good players. They have Shabalala. They have, as much as I might have my differences with him, they have Mfundo Velakazi. They have a Batman. You could see that as much if the boy is given a chance, he has a lot of quality. Could improve. Arsenal Velepai still has to grow, but you can see that he's a player that if he's given the time and the patience, who could grow. I think you also have a good player at the back. The Kaizer Chiefs have a solid defense. They have good players. McCarthy's progressed very well. There's a Rushwin Dudley who's going to come back again. So they already have certain parts that they have certain pieces of the puzzle. But it's also about making sure that they get the right players and they get the right coach. And the right coach who will play in the right way to give those players the platform to perform and to play. You know, I don't think Kaizer Chiefs are a million miles away. I do think that if they can get the right 6 or 7 players of high quality, I think they can put themselves in a good position to be a big player in the season next in the Premier Soccer League next season. But they have to improve on the goal scoring. They have to improve in their chance creation. They have to improve in the way that they play the game. They have to improve a lot in how they play in possession. They have to improve a lot in how they take their chances. The Shabalalas, the Dubas, there's been a lot of games where they've missed a lot of clear-cut chances that if those chances were taken, Kaizer Chiefs would have also gotten a lot of points in the season. We mustn't forget about 10 games or 11 games ago, Kaizer Chiefs were a few points away from the title race. So it's just little changes that have to be made that could put them in a better position to be able to be competitive, you know. So I do think that with the right profile of players and the right squad, I think Kaizer Chiefs will be good. I'll make another video again speaking about the squad auditing and which players, individual players, I think Kaizer Chiefs should let go and which players they should retain. But I think they already have a good core that they could build from. And I think if they could get the right coach with the right backing in the transfer market, I do really think that they'll put themselves in a good position for the next season. But Kaizer Chiefs, the management, it all starts with the management. Kaizer Chiefs as a football club has to make a statement to want to be competitive in the Premier Soccer League. Kaizer Chiefs have to make a statement to say they want to be a big player in the league, you know. And I think the last transfer window that I could really say that Kaizer Chiefs wanted to go for the league was the 2014-2015 transfer window, when they signed Sponiso Gacha, they signed Molomonda Mato, they signed Morgan Gold, they signed Tsapo Masilela, they signed Kusiabonga Nkosi, they brought in Majora from the previous season and Bernard Parker, but they also brought in high quality players. And that only improved the team. Tefu Mashamite was already. So those are the type of players that the player have to bring into in next season. And that's how it is, you know. It's either they improve and they bring those types of players and they progress forward, improve the overall quality. And I think then they would have a chance for the next coming season. But it comes down to Kaizer Chiefs wanting to be that type of team. So this is the video I just wanted to give out to say that congratulations, Kaizer Chiefs have done very well. They're in third position, but it's important that they consolidate it. And I think the management has to do a very good audit, be honest with themselves. I think 50, 60 to 60% or almost half of the squad, I do think, for me personally, there's a lot of players that are not supposed to be there. They have to get the right coaches. They have to fix their recruitment. They have to bring the high quality players. And the management of the Kaizer Chiefs, if they make a statement in the boardroom level in terms of the coaching and the players that they bring, I think it will bring a lot of confidence and energy into the upcoming season to show that Kaizer Chiefs are really serious for that. So this is my thoughts. Guys, give a comment, give a thought, let's engage, let's communicate about this thing. I'll give out more videos on what I want to say. Let's support this video, guys. And again, let's make sure that we comment, always speaking and always having different points of view on the video. We'll, you know, interacting to also make sure that we give each other different points of views. I'm learning from you just as you're learning from me. So guys, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening. More is to come, and I hope you have a good one. Thank you. Bye bye. Ciao.